Welcome to the Love Your Story podcast. Hey, today we're talking about the power of novelty. And that leads me to a couple of questions. The first one is, are you both doing a lot of the same things lately? Are you talking to a lot of the same people and dealing with the same old problems? Does life look like Groundhog Day over and over, where you're just doing a lot of the same things that you've always done? You know, the reason that there is only one movie called Groundhog Day that does that theme of the exact same thing happening day after day is because it's a really boring story. We humans have active minds, and novelty, freshness, bright and flashy squirrels grab our attention. Today's podcast is about the richness of bringing novelty into your story, why it's needed, and some ideas on how to do it. Stay tuned.
Starting June 1st, the Love Your Story podcast will transition into a bi-weekly show for the summer. New episodes will come out every other Wednesday at the regular time, rather than every Wednesday, as we prepare for a dynamic fall season. Thanks for tuning in for each value-packed episode. Share the love. Now, back to the show.
Stories are our lives in language. Welcome to the Love Your Story podcast. I'm Lori Lee, and I'm excited for our future together of telling stories, evaluating our own stories, and lifting ourselves and others to greater places because of our control over our stories. This podcast is about empowerment and giving you, the listener, ideas to work with in making your stories work for you. Story power serves you best when you know how to use it. We all have ways of doing things. We all have things that work for us. I like my favorite flavor of tea. I like to drive my Subaru. I like my house clean. I prefer my ripped jeans. And I have my favorite Burt's Bees lip color. And frankly, it's taken me a lifetime to get all my favorites pinned down. I'm not saying get rid of the good stuff, but I am opening a discussion about bringing a little va-voom into your love life, into your family relationships, into your exercise routine, into your career. Where could your life use some novelty? Let's shake it up. Let's shake it up and make our stories a little more interesting because it's good for us. Cambridge Dictionary defines novelty as the quality of being new and unusual. Have you ever been in a place where someone did something completely unexpected? They busted out a dance move or started singing at the top of their lungs or threw you over their shoulder. What about the dance mobs that show up in a shopping center or the giant bouquet of balloons someone sent you at work? These things are unexpected and they're fun and they're interesting and they're memorable. That's why years later you still remember those events. Let me start with a question for you. Which part of your life is a little bit flat? Because this is a rather easy solution. It just requires a little thought and maybe just some spontaneity. The solution is novelty. Today's discussion is going to be short, sweet, and to the point. Just a reminder to add some spice and keep things interesting. And I'm keeping it short so that you have more time to figure out the fresh new thing that you're going to add to your life story today. Research into brain health and longevity suggests that regular experiences of novelty are essential to a long and happy life. Why is this? Well, it's simple according to Brain World magazine. Novelty makes us happy because a rush of dopamine accompanies fresh experiences of any kind. In one study published in the journal Neuron, participants were shown a set of pictures. They were, mostly commonplace images like landscapes and faces and interiors and stuff you see all the time. And then they would randomly throw in some oddball image that was unexpected. And when that happened, the pleasure centers of the brain lit up, resulting in that dopamine rush. This programming in our own brains has probably helped us keep learning and seeking growth through the ages. And the attraction to novelty built in so that we're motivated. It motivates us to explore, to adventure, and this gives us more information for survival. But how does it help us now to live better? Is novelty important in this safe modern world that we live in? I'm going to suggest that it's exactly the same. Maybe we're not exploring new lands and Maybe we are, but what if something as ordinary as the survival of a relationship requires something new and fresh? Frankly, it's impossible to thrive without novelty. And understanding this about the human condition is a powerful tool to living better and creating better relationships at home and at work and in the world around us. So, hey, let's get a little novel. When you do the same thing all the time with the same person, things become predictable. They become less fun and sometimes just plain boring. So maybe the best thing for your love life or a relationship that's getting a little dull is to shake it up, to do something you haven't done before or something you haven't done for a while. And really, I think it's the unexpected nature of it, the spontaneity that creates this freshness. So do something unexpected. Here are some ideas for you. I surveyed a dozen people about novelty ideas to spice up relationships. And I didn't indicate that they necessarily were romantic relationships, although I think that most people went there. And aside from all the sexual remarks that popped out, which is also a great idea, other ideas included 1, having each person write a list of 5 things that they'd like to try or do, and then taking turns doing the things on both lists. Maybe, cutting them up into little pieces of paper and put them in a bowl. And each week you draw one out and do that. And of course, everybody has to be a good sport about the other's list, even if it wouldn't be your first choice. But this keeps it fun and interesting, and you're doing new things you haven't done. The second one on the list, do something crazy together every day for a week. And that level of crazy would depend on how much the couple already does things that are outside their comfort zone. But just have a commitment that today we're going to do something new and a little bit off the wall. The third one was an actual example. A woman left a note on the kitchen table when her husband got home from work, and it said, "Husband, welcome home. I'm hiding in the house with a Nerf gun. Here is the other one. The loser cooks dinner tonight. May the odds be ever in your favor. XO, your wife." The fourth idea, don't forget fun in the mundane space of just getting things done. So, we go about our lives. We have our routines. We have our things we need to do to keep things running. But throw in that hike or the sports game or the movie or the amusement park or the museum or the bungee jumping or something where you and this other person you're building a relationship go out and do something outside the mundane. So something that you guys think is fun. And of course, if you're doing something you haven't done before, then we're doing the novels. So keeping it fresh. Another idea that came up a lot, number 5, was taking a class together that's fun and even outside your comfort zone, something you've both wanted to learn how to do maybe. Number 6, leave an unexpected note in unexpected places and keep doing this as just kind of a keep things fresh, say fun and interesting, exciting things and having your partner or other person find it when it's least expected. Create a treasure hunt for the other party. And last but not least, maybe it's as simple as offering to do something new and kind and unexpected for the other person every day for a week, right? I bet that becomes a memorable week. So speaking of memory, learning, whether it's academic, job-related, or personal, all of that relies on novelty. New experiences stimulate the memory centers of the brain as well. And that's why you remember that out of the ordinary event that happened in high school, or the craziest date that you ever went on, or the person who shoved a pie in their friend's face, or the greeter at Walmart that sang you that beautiful song while you were at self-checkout, or hippies in the park having sex, or the streaker at the college basketball game, or the kid that takes his shirt off at the bowling tournament. Now, these were all real events that the people in my survey remembered when I asked them, what's one of the most interesting things you remember happening in public? And all of these were top on their mind, right on the edge of their memory because they were novel and interesting and unexpected. This is also why good teachers and leaders are looking for new ways to approach otherwise mundane topics that are fraught with the known and the expected. It's because when they can bring in the novelty, the unexpected into the idea that they're trying to teach, that it cements it in the student's memory. So, for example, right now, I'm preparing a public presentation for next month, and I'm trying to think of something unexpected and novel that I can do to get my audience's attention and to make it memorable. Right? Something to consider. I'm working on that. But this is the power of novelty in our lives, which is what this discussion is about. So we have the dopamine, which increases our happiness. We have the memory centers that are stimulated by novelty, and that help us retain our experiences. But we also have motivation and engagement that come from these things. They're created by that dopamine. So for example, people cannot maintain interest in any topic for very long if novelty isn't present. It just, the brain becomes dulled. So we need that dopamine to keep us motivated, or we'll look for pleasure and interest in other places. This is a great thing to understand when you want or need to keep people or a person interested in a topic or a relationship or an idea. Novelty, again, is the key. So really, it's actually a super simple tool, just one that you have to put a teensy bit of effort into, but it makes life interesting and fun and unexpected. The other aspect of our lives is professionally, of course, and ta-da, career success is also dependent on this novelty, because when people become bored in any part of their life, they become unmotivated. Nothing's new. We as people need new challenges and creativity and innovation, which we're looking for in the workforce, and no matter what you do, probably. And it's practically impossible without novel experiences. Our brains, when they aren't challenged to consider new perspectives or to integrate new information, they go stagnant. So we need that novelty to challenge us. So let's bring novelty to work too. One of the participants in my formal survey said that she controls the novelty of what she wears to work each day. It's a small thing, but it helps her to keep things interesting and novel, and just maybe it's something that simple. So as I close up today, I will end with the ever popular Latin phrase, carpe diem, seize the day. Your challenge today is to add some novelty, something unexpected and fun into your story. People who actively seek new experiences throughout life live happier, healthier lives. Translation, they live and create better stories. What will you do today to make your story more unpredictable? Have fun creating your best life story. And remember to head to loveyourstorypodcast.com for a link to buy my book, Life, Living Intentional and Fearless Every Day, or to pick up your Love Your Story t-shirt, or to sign up for story coaching, or to tune into any of the over 130 plus episodes that are now available on just about any topic you can think of for living your best life story. Share them, share the love, people. Have a great week. Thanks for being here.